I found some real authentic Pottery Barn dining chairs, normally $249 for $20 a piece on Facebook Marketplace. They need a little love, so that's what we're going to be doing on this episode. So let's get started. So a few months ago, I bought this beautiful table at a thrift store, and a few weeks ago, we gave it a makeover. It's gorgeous. I love it. I had been admiring tables like that on Pinterest forever, and I finally got one for $75. And then I needed some chairs to match. Now, the first thing that I found was a bench at Hobby Lobby for, I think it was $90. And so that was probably like the most expensive thing about this dining set that we're putting together. And then I'm like, I need some more chairs than that. A bench is not gonna be enough. So I found these Queen Anne Pottery Barn chairs on Facebook Marketplace for $20 a piece. I got $1,000 worth of Pottery Barn chairs for $80. Now, the chair itself is very sturdy, in good condition. The wood finish on it is not terrible. I mean, it does have some nicks and dings. I could go about just kind of restoring the wood finish that's on there. However, with what I've got going on with kitchen cabinets and my fireplace mantle and the finish on this, I just felt like there were too many different woods. Plus, I have some bar stools right next to this dining table that kind of have a black wash finish on them. And so that's what I'm gonna be doing today. These chairs have been discontinued on the Pottery Barn website. It almost looks like they just lined it and then they didn't actually upholster it. The fabric that they used was like a cream color. It was very thin, and so there's a lot of worn down spots on these chairs, and it just didn't hold up very well. And I think that that's why they were discontinued, just because of their fabric selection. What I want you to know before we start out is this is a very forgiving technique, so it's really hard to mess up. I've got a jar of black chalk paint here that I've mixed with about 3/4 chalk paint and 1/4 water. And then you're gonna wanna dampen your brush beforehand, not sopping wet, just get it a little wet and then squeeze as much water out of it as possible. This will help kind of the chalk paint from drying on as you do this process. We're gonna dip our paintbrush in it and then wipe off quite a lot of it, and so there's not a lot on here, and we're gonna just start going to town, and we're gonna just kind of feather it on. If there's like an imperfect area, you might want to hit that with a little bit more paint and a little bit heavier, and then you can just keep working on it as you go. And we have a damp rag with us, and you'll see why we need that in a second. Kind of get in this keyhole area. And then I feel like I got it a little heavier than I want here, so we can just kind of dab some of it off here and then kind of feather it out, kind of in a crisscross, because you don't want harsh lines, but you do kind of want it to look like natural wear and tear, and that looks really good. So some of the wood is showing through there. And then just in areas that you want to rework, just dab it with a wet cloth and kind of feather it out. Like I said, this is really a forgiving process, and a little paint goes a long way. So we're just gonna kind of go at this for a while. In some of those areas where we know that there's gonna be natural tear, just kind of wipe it off while it's wet. And then you can always come back in even after it's dry and kind of wipe or add as needed. So we want some of the wood to show, but I'm looking for more of an opaque look than a stained look, so just strategic showing. If you're a sloppy painter, this is the technique for you. If there's any like dings or dents or scratches, this is a good way to hide those. It's a wonderful technique. I love this. And as you can see, I haven't re-dipped this in a while, and we've been able to get quite a bit of coverage out of just the one dip. Now I'm getting ready to needing to dip it again, but as you can see, we're gonna not need very much paint to get the job done. Get all the little nooks and crannies, and then have some areas that are like natural wear and tear. Okay, we're gonna re-dip here, and then we're gonna wipe a lot of it off. You can be super messy with this. And this will be kind of a very similar look to the existing black one that was for sale through Pottery Barn. And you can see that this is kind of drying off, and if you want to pull some of it off, you can still do it and then feather it out. So we're just kind of feathering out some of these brush strokes. This is honestly probably one of the most forgiving techniques I've ever worked with, so I'm really liking this. It's beautiful. Beautiful rich black color. If you've got too much paint on your brush, you kind of just spread the love all over, and then you can come and feather it out when your brush is a little bit drier. So just keep working on it until you're happy with the way it looks, and then you're gonna let it dry for about 1 to 2 hours. So I tried waxing the chairs, but the finish ended up being uneven and kind of blotchy. Some of it was shiny, some of it was still flat. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use this Watco Crystal Clear Lacquer finish. It's in satin. I don't want it to be super glossy, but just a nice, beautiful finished sheen. And we're gonna just do some light coats and let it dry. And it's actually not too humid today for once. These seat cushions actually look grosser than they really are. They've been steam cleaned, and these stains are just stubborn, but they will be good as new in no time once we are through. I had some white denim left over from some slip covers that I made for some chairs in Maine. It actually washes up very nice, so I'm hoping for a similar effect on these seat cushions. Now I ripped them to 26 by 26 inch squares, large enough to cover each cushion. Since the chairs and the table are already kind of a French country look, we are going to keep with that look by adding some French stripes. Kind of just follow along what I'm doing here, but I'm actually creating a wide middle stripe and 2 smaller side stripes. Now for the paint. I went to the Home Depot and picked up a sample paint, which is more than plenty to paint on our stripes. The paint color's name is Fresh Artichoke, and I had it mixed in a satin finish. I paint it directly onto the denim, being careful around the edges as to not get too much leakage seeping underneath the tape. And once our green is on, I pull the tape right up. I don't even wait for it to dry. You want to be careful though. While the paint is drying, I find a French label off of graphicsfairy.com that I liked, and then I uploaded it into my Cricut design studio after removing the background. I adjusted the size and duplicated it so there was 4 of them, and then I cut it out of heat transfer vinyl. Then, of course, I remove the excess that I don't want and cut them apart. Then I just use my Easy Press for 20 seconds on the front side and 15 seconds on the back. Let it cool for a few seconds, peel it back, and voila, beautiful. Then we are going to staple this on to each cushion. I work in a north, south, east, west pattern, working from the center out, and then I try to wrap each corner similar to how I would wrap a present. and you may want to cut off any excess that would block your way to the screw holes. Using the electric staple gun makes it so much easier and makes quick work of it. Now, one might think I have gone and done lost my marbles for putting white canvas on my dining room chairs with 2 little boys at home. We are going to put 2 coats of the Scotchgard on, and I figure if my boys can't manage themselves, there's always a wood bench that they can sit on. And plus, recovering dining room chair seats is pretty simple. And so if push comes to shove, I will recover them. So let's put this Scotchgard on. We're gonna do it really good. I am just thrilled with how my Pottery Barn chairs turned out. They look amazing. They're classy, and they look like I got them from Pottery Barn, except for with a cuter seat, a cuter cushion, and that's not bad. You know, we'll see how these white cushions turn out. I might be a little nutty for doing it, but we'll see. Maybe they'll hold up, and if not, it's just an easy switch for me. I hope you've seen that it's not that hard to change out the fabric on your seat cushions in your dining room. It's a pretty easy switch. I went to a little extra effort to make mine customized, but you could just put on some fabric and it would be super easy to do. So for about $25 a piece, I have beautiful, authentic Pottery Barn chairs that look a lot better than when I picked them up, and I'm just thrilled. If you enjoyed this episode, here's another one that I think you'll like as well. And until next time, to all of my DIY Niners, bye.